be. This is the Open Space Committee, and we're being videoed. Review the minutes from last time.
I apologize for getting them out late.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing I saw was Brandon's last name. Does it start with an F or a PH?
It's an F.
Is it?
It is, I know. You guys all want to do PH, but I have emails from him. It's F-A-N-E-U-F. Yes.
Okay.
I'm good on that one.
No.
I did my usual, put 2 N's for Benoit and went back. I'm like, I think that's not right. Checking something on the minutes.
No.
Okay.
Everything? Any corrections on the minutes? Changes?
I move that we accept the minutes of March 12th, 2024.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, let's see, do we want to talk about Walnut Street or
I have no report.
no report? So I was looking at, basically, if there was a trail along the edge of that property on Walnut Street, for 20 feet wide, it could be 4,000 feet long. That would be 2 acres. So, would be possible to just skim off a trail along the edge there. I would think it would be a good idea.
Which property are you talking about? The
Walnut
big? No, you're talking about the little piece?
Just, where we walked on our sidewalk.
Okay, so you're
Just
talking at the
To
beginning?
the east of the brook and just along the border.
Are you still talking about crossing the brook?
After we get into the conservation.
I thought the crossing was better. When we looked, I thought we were thinking the crossing would be better before the conservation land and then go. Do you remember?
Then you're slicing off more of the property, Like this, we just, stuck to the edge. Basically, we were walking through this land.
Yeah, but none of this, because without the brook on here, I thought when we walked in, and then we thought there was a better potential for crossing up here or right here, and that this was, I don't know, Becky, do you remember that at all?
It just seemed like I thought the crossing would be better up here because it was less wetlands, I think, on.
Right, but then we're taking a bigger chunk of land,
It goes into the lot number 1. So what are you looking at? For an easement or what? I'm not sure what you.
We're not sure what the deal will be,
No, we could possibly negotiate 3 or 4 acres. It's whether we have an option for parking, or is that not an option considering the wetlands?
Yeah, I didn't think that there was much option for parking at all.
Because then it's street parking the same as it is on the opposite side, unless there's other things that happen on the east side.
Again, that would be going out there specifically looking for some of these answers.
Well, I can have another talk with the owner too, because I just haven't had time to do that,
Yeah.
so.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah. I'll keep it as no updates.
Yeah. The next one, CPA committee and upcoming information session. Is everybody good at coming to the meeting? Yeah, I guess I should have gone before the planning and the conservation commissions and told them what it really is. You know, a little bit more about the CPA, but I just figured that they would come to the meeting, send a representative and come to the meeting and find out what it is.
And so we sent a letter to everybody, right, telling them it's the 25th at 7 o'clock, so we should probably send an email reminding them before then. We have emails for everybody.
We do?
If we do, I said.
Oh,
Well, I remember conservation, I was reading something today that said that we really don't even have an email for conservation.
yeah, we discussed that at the last meeting.
Right.
They don't, so go tell Jen to send it to everybody.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do that.
Well, if we also know any folks on these other committees, like cemetery and the historical commission and things like that, we should call and remind them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've looked at the people that are on these committees, like, okay, from conservation, who would be coming, you know, who possibly could,
Well, they don't have to limit it to just one representative.
Right.
If any of them are interested, they can come.
right. But certain ones have to be there. Conservation has to be represented, parks have to be represented.
No, that's only after it's passed and there's a
Right,
committee.
right. That's the
So right now, we can just invite,
Everybody.
just cast a big net.
This is just information.
Right.
Right. But, you know, it'd be nice to have the people that are going to be on the committee in the long run be a part of it at the very beginning, too. And we'll have to get another committee going after that.
Well,
Yeah,
what does Jen have emails for? Does she have like the historical cemetery and all that? I mean, could she send out a blast to every single?
I know she has conservation and planning. I don't know about the others.
Yep, I'll have to ask.
But there should be a way to distribute electronically to all those folks.
Mm-hmm.
You said Dick Skinner was interested. Do you know him?
Yeah, that's in our minutes. Yeah. Yep.
So, can
I think I did remind him already, but I'll remind him again.
he lives on South Street?
I don't know.
I looked up to see where.
I did post it on Facebook, and there was few people, you know, more interested. I should probably post it again
Yeah,
as a reminder.
that would be great, yeah. Facebook. And I'm sure Ann will remember. She probably doesn't need reminded about things.
So he was the only one, to my knowledge, that responded to the blurb we put in, I think it was in the New Uxbridge Times. And think maybe you were away, did we ever check? To me, that email is sporadic. I don't know if he was the only one or if there were others that may have replied. Because when we called for volunteers, I saw some and I thought Sue didn't, but I don't know.
That's what I was like, well, am I getting the emails from for the concert for open space? And then I checked and I did get one, so I was like, well, I guess I do.
Okay.
But
Oh, maybe we can have her post the meeting on the town's front page on the website. Informational session on
yeah.
CPA.
All right. Well,
No, I hear it ringing too. You don't want to answer it.
can't be me.
No, it's something else. It's the humming and the ringing and it's really distracting. All right.
See, it's not me. Trying to make us go insane. All right. So I wasn't sure that it was Brandon that we were supposed to ask about the trail development limitations.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so I asked Matt Benoit instead. And he said that what he says, write that down. Basically, he said that, that there is a form to fill out for that with conservation to get in. But,
Oh, sorry. So what does trail development limitation
so we were,
define that?
when we were doing the trails at Mazinski
Okay.
property, we were like, well, what if we wanted to make the trail go that way? Or how, do we have to keep it far from a brook or whatever? And as far as Matt knew, the only thing that really you needed to get permission on is building a bridge. And so you go to the Conservation Commission and fill out a form. And I remember when they built that bridge at the Mazinski property, that it took them a long time to, verify all the plans, and that almost didn't go through for him to be able to build a bridge at that location. But it did go through
So you got to get a permit,
from conservation, yeah.
but that's
I
to
forget what the wording he used.
expand the trail.
Well, it's really, he didn't think that there was anything except just the bridge building. So as far as cutting a trail, that would be okay.
So did anybody talk to Brandon?
No.
Okay, thanks, but
Did you? So, yeah, good. What did he say?
He said trail maintenance doesn't trigger a permit. He said to be careful. He said one person's maintenance is another one's major renovation.
Mm-hmm.
But I said we were just cleaning up deadfall. He said go forth with an impact minimization and you will be fine. He's actually available for a walk tomorrow or next Monday. Because I said I'd like to have him walk it just to show him our idea of moving it closer to the brook. I said right now the existing trail is within 100 feet of the brook.
Yeah.
You can do a site walk.
Uh-huh. What
And then when we have him, we could actually ask him about possibly developing a new trail.
alternate route?
What would the steps on that be?
Yeah, or even, bring to all of them. I mean, I think about the Maryland Doobie one on Manchog Road there, that it would almost be a great place for a community garden or something. It goes down into the field.
How do you access it?
Well, that's, you go up the steep steps and then along the ridge and then down. But the left side of the parking lot looks like it's, a place where you could get in easier. And closer to Sutton.
But I think it's, so that dovetails with some of our other conversation, but I think that's already, that's chapter 97 protection, so I don't think it's available for community garden.
Okay.
But plus,
Really?
yeah, I don't think
Can't have
so.
garden on conservation land.
I don't, you can double check, but I think, it's permanently protected open space, which means, yeah. But I mean, so you want to get the agent out there and look at what the cleaning that was, the stewardship that was done, and possibly moving the trail or expanding the trail?
More so, I mean, we'll walk it, but more so steps for expanding it, our ideas, and also the relocation a little bit closer to the river on part of it. Because I'm not too worried about the trail maintenance. He said that's not triggering anything.
Yep.
Did he say anything about building a bridge?
No, didn't ask. We're not at any bridge points right now.
Right.
And that's definitely going to
Right, that's
involve
all.
Conservation Commission.
So Matt and Brandon kind of agree with each other. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, I think if anybody wants, I'm not sure about like tomorrow or Monday, but,
Morning, I'm open.
All right, I can,
To be able to start tomorrow.
because I haven't made a date with him on that yet, so
The date was,
next Monday.
next Monday morning. Morning.
So next Monday would be the 22nd?
Correct.
I think that would be better for me.
I could do that too. What, 22nd?
yeah. Tomorrow I get the vet coming for shots.
I know I have something going on Monday, but I'll have to work around it, so. All right, I'll tell him next Monday when I have a time frame. I'll email all you guys.
Thank you.
While we're on that property, I have a question to ask. The GPS map that I did, I got rid of that little exploration where we went past it and down and came up with this loop, so that's the map. And I showed parking over here, and then this is where the other trail goes off, but this is actually a half-mile loop. Not counting walking from the parking lot, though. It's just here. Is it okay if I post this on Facebook and pictures of the cleanup, and just to let everyone in town know that, this has been opened up and cleared? That
Yeah,
Yeah.
just, get people interested.
All right. Yeah, because I have pictures of the workday.
Mhm.
Figured to post those and let everyone know then that's the map, and
Yep, and we'll be having more work days. Keep your eyes out.
all right.
even better, say to volunteer and put in the open space email. Or if you want to, if you want to volunteer and keep, we'll keep you posted on upcoming,
Yeah, look for more updates on this open space page.
but if they send us their email, then we can push it out to them every time instead of expecting them to go look at it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you should be keeping a master list of the ones that have already
Yeah, I do.
volunteered, okay?
Yep. Yeah, and then the other day, the people doing the cleanup came to me to ask about what the waiver for all the people that are going to be cleaning up in town this coming weekend.
Town website.
Yeah. Yeah, I brought her down. Coffee.
Okay, good.
Okay, next one, property updates.
So did you want another trail day or stewardship day? Did you want to set one before you move to the next item?
Question on what, though? Where?
Well, I know Michael, that one guy who's into the Frisbee game, he lives right near Briarwood, the one that's kind of off Downs Road, that property.
Off
It's
of
a-
South Street
Yeah,
area?
yeah, kind of behind the Fern Oaks. So, if it's very close to him, maybe that would be an interesting place. It's a large neighborhood there.
Does it have a trail already?
No, I don't think so.
So it would just be a cleanup or?
Just to survey it for a trail, to begin a trail. Maybe it does have a trail, it's not that big. Or any place, anybody else have an idea?
Property is called Briarwood.
Yeah.
And where is it?
It's off, let's see.
Towns Road or Towns Way? I don't know.
It's off Briarwood Circle. So it's this piece. It's right near the trunk line trail. So,
So,
I don't know where he lives.
where's the property?
It's that pink one, yep.
So the access is actually off of
There is no
Downs?
access.
What's that long?
This, I think, is the Furnos driveway.
Yeah, there's no access to it then. How are we getting to it?
I don't know.
So maybe we should reconnaissance it,
Yeah.
do some reconnaissance before we get a bunch of people down there.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
it needs to
before,
be
yeah,
a plan.
it's more of a reconnaissance, yeah.
So well, what about the Mary Lynn Doobie property? I don't know what condition.
It's just, yeah,
This one.
it would be good we have to reconnaissance that too, to see what it would take to get down to the river. We walked the Mary Lynn Doobie one. We went up the top there and looked down basically with Danny. And then we were like, well, it's a big field, who pays it, and that sort of thing. But, so that, they probably all need reconnaissance of just what to do on it.
Yeah, because the U Street conservation area, that's, a good part of that is a really cool wetlands, so I'm not sure that there's a lot there to do trail-wise either, so.
Right, and there's no, it's just a barrier of trees, it's like Chestnut Street. Which, we could make a cut into the Chestnut Street and get in there somehow too.
Oh, from the other side, yeah. I'm trying,
We Still need to explore a little bit more on the other side of that stream and on the Keegan property too. We went a little bit up there when we were with Andy, but we didn't go very far.
Right. So the only tricky thing is we're pushing leaf out.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah.
well, I guess we have to prioritize some reconnaissance for ourselves before we bring other people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm trying to think if there's any, I don't think there's another property. There's the U Street, there's Mazinski property, and the Mary Lynn Doobie property. Oh, what about Makowski Drive? But I think we have to access that through private property, maybe?
That's basically the entrance to it is the brook off of South.
Southeast Maine,
Yeah, so see, it's
right.
that needs reconnaissance too. I always wanted to go there.
Okay.
Maybe we should pick a conservation land each meeting and do a little reconnaissance.
I think for right now, we still need more on the Leo Mazinski that we can do, because we've got the other trail to explore. I also want to check to see if there's a better crossing of that brook where it comes out, where we went straight, we thought, to that driveway. And if there's another area in there that would be a better crossing than what's currently there.
Yeah. Then going down and.
Yeah, so that's still going to need more reconnaissance, and I think the Keegan, and those are the two that we're working on, so I think we should kind of
Yeah.
prioritize them, because if that passes at the town warrant for the Keegan property, it'll give us a better lay of the land on the backside of that brook.
Yeah.
And then we still have exploring about possible expansion on the Leo Mazinski Explorer up in there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that looks like, I was supposed to, that piece, it looks like, that house, that's Richard Roberts' house there. And everything, that's the only little piece out of that land. So, it's, basically, it runs the whole distance right along Manchot Street. The conservation is right along the road, except for that one little house. So that would be worth checking in, park somewhere along there and just
Yep.
walk in. Where that,
with access coming in from the other end.
right, where
Yes.
that guy comes in who lives across the street there that we ran into.
Paul, I think his name was Paul. Yeah,
Paul.
Paul Stewart.
Yeah.
So I think also on the warrant is the transfer of open space from the Douglas Sutton development. That was supposed to happen at the end of last year before it moved forward. So, and I think Matt Benoit told us that natural heritage has designation in there, so remember we wanted to get out there and see if there are trail possibilities before everything was finalized, and then that went back and forth. But maybe, for future, we'll put that on the list now too, because that's gonna be significant acreage that could possibly link to Manchar Road or something.
Yeah, as far as I looked at last time, I could look at the maps. I saw that it's 110 acres, and it's 110 acres, and there's only 28 lots already aligned on the map. But I think there's going to be a lot, because 28 for, I thought it was like.
I think you said
40
something about there are going to be phases. That might be the first phase. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they have the lots already delineated and numbered and everything, but then they have other ones delineated, but no numbers on them. And then there's a huge swath in the middle where the brook runs along that there's nothing there. So
So is the 110 acres where the house is going to go, or is it that what's
that's the
going to the
whole
town?
piece.
That's the whole piece.
You think that's going to be on?
I saw that the selectmen, yeah, I think it is. There's no, I think the warrant had to be reopened and will be discussed tomorrow, no, tonight, briefly, and then closed again. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, but we could find out from Matt tonight. Because the town has to vote to accept it. This isn't, this is just acceptance, not purchase or anything like that. It has to vote to accept it as terms of the subdivision, and then it'll have to be recorded and all that good stuff. So I don't know how soon that turns around, but I'm just saying we should, we can add it to our list.
Yeah.
So we can, you think, which Keven is more important to hit for a reconnaissance? Just, that's what you think? Instead of,
Keven and Mazinski property. I think we'll be out there on Monday anyway, so we can kind of make that into a
Mhm.
bit of a reconnaissance.
Mhm. All right, and then, yeah, Castle Caves. The Finance Committee, I probably should have gone to the meeting to represent us, but the Finance Committee has decided, they voted against taking it as Chapter 97. They don't think it should be conservation land. They want it to be just town-owned. They think it's better protected and more usable later, because they might want to use it instead of, which is nonsense. And I watched the video. Matt made a good presentation, It wasn't just they, I don't know why they don't, but they voted against it.
That's their recommendation.
Right.
Okay, so moving forward, we have to make sure that it's clear that if we are proposing something, we need to be informed every step of the way so that we can advocate for ourselves. And if it's just municipally owned property, it is not permanently protected. So we have to make that clear, that there's a reason to have it deed restricted. That's what we do. And we need to talk to our friends and neighbors, get them to go to town meeting, and to support this article. There is no present day, whether it's under Chapter 97 or it's just municipally owned, it has no tax implication for the townspeople. So I have to read their charge or whatever, but there's no reason for them to even discuss it.
Weigh in on it, right?
Correct. Because it's owned by the town, it's not generating any taxes. The Chapter 97 would just give it permanent protection, still no generating of taxes for the town. It's a lot of wetlands, it's a lot of very difficult terrain.
Yeah, you're not going to,
You think you're gonna blast a road through there at some point?
well, that's what came up with is the development proposed for the south side of that, and how, they wouldn't want to lose any of that to, maybe we could trade it off for a parking lot or something, and it's like, it's not about parking, it's just about saving the land, and,
It's also right on the town boundary, so,
yeah.
I mean, if you have a chance, watch the finance committee meeting of last week, I think it was.
Yeah, it's in April anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Go towards the very end.
But just so you can understand what they're arguing, but we have to maintain that this is a great piece of property to remain open space in perpetuity.
That's on the town warrant though, right?
Right, but it will just say the finance committee does not recommend.
Yep, gotcha.
On the bulletin.
But but does it say the every other committee recommends?
Unfortunately not, because this is, for some reason, bulletin is only from the finance committee. So, that's a good point, Sue. What we should do is ask the Conservation Commission, please, can a member stand up
Yeah.
and speak for it? I don't know who else supported us, but we have to look at that and say, we need support for this. I mean, because, there's no financial implication, period.
But what's at stake is its protection, permanent protection.
Yeah.
Mhm. And it was on the master plan 20 years ago. It's been there a long time.
And the person that was so against it at the finance committee is, I know, I was on the master plan committee, and I'm the one that said that I'm all about saving Castle Caves, It's like, okay.
So again, you need to get people there, we need to get people besides ourselves to speak to it.
Okay, Castle Caves, even cover that little piece on Wallem Lake Road, that's not gone anywhere, is it?
It's still, I asked, I did meet with Joe Taylor,
Oh, yeah.
so that was on my list. So that is still, it's the state, they move at the speed of molasses.
But it's still going.
So, yes, it is. He's gonna try to keep on top of that so it doesn't get lost. It's to make sure they keep moving it, because, they do one thing, then it's gonna go legal. Then legal's gonna approve it, then it's gonna go back. So it's a long, drawn-out process. But it's
It's in the works, yeah.
It's slowly, kind of like the Ice Age.
Yeah. And the fishing game one over on the Webster line went through. So that's,
Oh, it did.
I think it did. Didn't you read that in the paper? Yeah, I think we saw it, that it changed hands.
Oh,
The
I
big
didn't.
property.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't notice it.
Maybe I didn't see it.
I know it was the letter, the selectmen voted to send a letter of support. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's been recorded yet.
Sutton Douglas and New Sherburne.
So Sutton Douglas was what I was just talking about. Yeah.
Okay, the New Sherburne, I asked Matt what was going on with that. And, sheets of
Lost
paper.
lost your notes?
Yeah, I mean, I did, you should have seen the pile before I got it organized to come here. But what baffles me is New Sherburne still in chapter 61?
Yeah, I don't think we ever got anything.
Right,
for
but
it
that
to be-
was, might have been the time that slipped through the cracks, that we didn't get a chance to.
Oh, the A&R, the roadside lots are not,
Oh, really? Just the interior?
I believe, at this point, or other parcels. But the roadside A&R lots,
That's right.
Because they all, because I was going to say, there's wells already on some of those.
yeah,
And there's, the whole way around, it's all marked. But in areas where there's, obviously a brook passing through or whatever, they haven't touched those particular ones, but we'll see what happens because they have the first three heading south on South Street were okay, but then implications were going to come up for the next one because that's where the wet was. And if they had, talked about the whole strip, they could have figured out what was going to happen in the long run, but now they have to just kind of backtrack and maybe redesign or change the first three in order to adhere to the new rules for the further ones down, unless they just avoid developing the ones that are wet as the street.
So that's per map?
No, that's just my
all right.
observations. from driving around there.
so Orange Street is a scenic road. It's classified as a scenic road. The developer came in and with a survey that showed that the road width was a particular 30 feet or whatever. And Matt Benoit asked the town council for a determination, and town council came back and said that the stone walls were outside the road width. So even though scenic road designation is supposed to protect trees and stone walls, it did not apply here because the developer showed the specific road width.
Well, what stone wall is on the road? I mean,
I don't see a stone wall along the road, just a lot of big rocks set up on the knob. rather
No, there
than-
was, on Orange Street, there was
Yeah.
some.
Yeah, not on this first one, two, that,
No, but the implications, for scenic roads are like, I thought the designation scenic road included the stone walls because that was basically the width of the road. So now there seems to be some other interpretation of that.
Interesting.
And the bylaw, our scenic road bylaw, basically does not define road width because most of the roads in town are variable road width. But we should have maps of all the roads, we should have layout plans of all the roads in town, and
Especially the scenic ones, right?
nobody seems to know where those are, if we even have them.
so basically, all of our land is
Well, remember when we,
undetermined of width. I mean, my front to back, where does it start, at the street or at the stone wall, or?
yeah, and then who determines if you don't, unless you're gonna go out and have a survey that specifically shows where your front yard meets the road, and then there's the drainage ditches or other culverts that were put in. I don't know. We talk about scenic vistas and preserving open space in town, and I'm failing to understand how that interpretation allows for protection on that street, because they've basically just thrown it out.
In the material that he presented was valid to prove that the road was...
It was signed by an engineer. So unless somebody's gonna go out and get that
Yep.
survey done that refutes that,
Not gonna happen.
so I just think I think it's a bad precedent. Because it should include the stone walls. If it's designated a scenic road, it includes the stone walls, and there shouldn't be a discussion over road width.
That shouldn't make a difference.
But that's where that ended up. So I don't know, maybe some of the abutters will contest it, I don't know.
Interesting. Has anybody contacted anyone with Chapter 61 lands? I haven't. It's, cold calling is leave a message and say, I'm going to call again later, and if you're interested, pick up. And
I thought we divvied some of them up by who we, it's always more effective to figure out who knows somebody who might.
right, my next door neighbor is one of them, so.
Start there.
approach. Yeah, right,
You have to start with people you know.
right. First one, make the first one an easy one, and then it gets easier. It's like the Democrat calls. All right. Old business. Zito is selling out. The person you got a little land for the Bay State Trail, right?
The house has been for sale for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
someone has bought it, it's in 61B, but the person that bought it is going to leave it in 61B, so we don't get a chance. Which was the same thing that happened with Paul Berlet's old land, that they wanted to put a house, take 2 acres off, put another house, but it was for family members, so it didn't come before us.
So if it changes hands, if it's a sale to a non-family member, that still is, remember our policy? That is a parcel that's changing ownership. There was no notification?
I got the, yeah, but that was what it said. I guess I don't have it with me, the letter. Here it is. Yep, it says, this letter is in response to your notice of intent for parcel blah, 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 at 95 Monroe Street. Upon receipt and review of this complete notice of intent, which includes a signed affidavit from the purchaser stating the intention is to keep the land in Chapter 61B, it has been determined that the town of Douglas will not take any action on this matter.
I
Okay,
think that's what we had to do too when we bought the other Zito property, to keep it at 61B.
right, but you failed to say there was a signed affidavit, which is the key there, and that there's a time frame on that of X number of years. That if they do that, it's basically a homestead, that they are saying that they are keeping it in chapter. But it has to have a signed affidavit, because,
This says that, yeah.
yeah, but that's,
That's the key.
yeah. Because otherwise, there has to be notice.
Is that
That's fine.
that might be Steve Sanderson's sister. Just bought a house across the street from Sue and Steve.
That's Maple.
Oh, yeah, it's big.
Okay, any other new or old business anyone wants to discuss?
So I know a lady at the gym who's been talking to some lady on Hemlock Street about buying some of her land, and something came up about if she can sell this land, it'll save her house or something. That sounds like she's got a lot of land. So I'm trying to figure out who it is.
I wonder if it's that piece that was going to be taken by foreclosure by the bank.
That's what I'm wondering.
Do you know what number?
No, the lady that goes to the gym with me, she's like, oh, my son and my husband have done all the talking to her. I don't know her name, I don't know this, but my husband wants to buy the land to help her save her house or something like that. Because they want to put cattle on it. You know, they don't want to build on it, they just want to put cattle on it. They live in Uxbridge now, I guess they have their cattle at their house. So they want to put like, 10 head or something like that.
Yeah, 'cause that was mostly fields
Yeah.
in there, so.
And so the son's been kind of talking to him, like, she thinks there's wetlands on it too. And I said, well, have you walked it? You know, do you know where? And she said, no, I haven't had anything. She was just asking me about Douglas, you know. And, I said, we'd love it if you keep it a field, you know what I mean, rather than having it sold for development or something. But, so I keep talking to her, see if she's found anything else out, but
So probably that gets sold, that's going to have to come out of chapter 61.
right. Can we keep it in 61 and just
It's
put
going to be
cattle on
a
it?
whole process. Well, that gives us the rights of first refusal.
Unless she gets an affidavit that says that they're going
I
to
mean,
keep
can
it
they
in 60.
can have cattle on it if it's 61, right?
Yep.
So I was trying to look and see who it might be. So I'll keep talking to her. Can't hurt.
Yeah, it's a big piece. It's big. It even has a street name, Evergreen Street on here.
Yeah, you're looking at just that Walnut.
Yeah.
Patricia Coles?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's who lives there.
Which is weird, it's not showing up as 61 on the map.
Get to escape. This is a good time for you.
I think so.
21st.
Is that unusual, or
No, it's.
did we change it?
There's something going on. Yeah, I think that's the third, it's turning to the second. I think I must have had something on the second, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Is that good time for the next meeting? May 21st?
Do I look at my calendar at home?
Yep,
I don't
me
know.
too.
Wide open.
appointment at 12:30, but I'll see if I can switch it.
I mean, we could make it later or whatever, too.
I might make it, I just don't know.
Yeah,
But I'll see if I can switch it.
Saying 2 o'clock.
yeah. All right. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
You want to second it?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.